All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Another Bourbon Show. Tonight we're going to be drinking. Actually, we've got to mention this. It's been a while since we met online. We
No,
met in person.
they just haven't noticed, Dan. So
Oh, nobody noticed?
I don't. Well, I mean, I don't
They
think
probably
so.
didn't. Yeah, probably not.
They probably are just like it's kind of cringy that you're acknowledging it. That's probably what
Oh,
they think. If they did notice,
that's
they
good.
didn't want it to be brought up.
Oh. Okay, well, fuck it then. Never mind. We are going to be drinking a whiskey tonight that is going to be brand new for all three of us. I've never had it. Steven, you said you've never had it. Ryan, have you ever had Chattanooga?
Never even heard of it.
Okay.
Really?
So we're going to be drinking
Nope.
Chattanooga 111. This is a straight bourbon whiskey. Comes out of it. Like, they're very proud of the fact that it's made in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's got like the letters are what is it, embossed? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got embossed there, and then it's got this gray. It's 111 proof,
And it's called Chattanooga Whiskey as well.
and it is called Chattanooga Whiskey. But
Chattanooga,
it's
good town, bad town, mediocre town. Does
good
anybody
town.
know?
It's
Good
a good
town?
town.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the most technologically advanced cities in the East Coast is my understanding.
Okay. I've only driven by going to Disney World as a kid. Remember you could see like 7 states at the top of the mountain or some shit,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's called Overlook Mountain. Is that right?
Okay. Don't
Maybe not.
remember.
I don't know. But anyway, it's interesting that this is not Tennessee whiskey. It is bourbon, right? So, about $45, pretty easily available. But I've heard some fantastic things about it. But before we do anything else, Steven, what do you think of that? Can you see it okay?
Yeah, I can see it. There's a little bit of a glare, but I can see it. I think it
Okay.
looks like it kind of looks like a tourist attraction, actually.
Yeah.
It looks like a sign on the side of the road. And for all I know, this could be based on maybe that's the sign they have outside their distillery. Maybe it's based on some sign that's in Chattanooga. But it looks cool. And is that kind of like a
Do you need me
black
to
and
keep
white?
holding it up? Yeah, it is. It's black and white.
So it kind of looks like a throwback, like a retro uh, label as well. So I think it looks pretty good. It looks like an I Love Lucy kind of throwback font or something to me. There's not a ton that looks like this. The bottle shape is pretty unique. I think they're doing a good job standing on the shelf and proudly saying where they're from because they think it makes them different. They're proud of it, whatever. I'm going to give this guy a 7. I think it's pretty good. I do think that Chattanooga whiskey, if you're not from there, doesn't necessarily mean a lot. But I mean, so what? They can do
Yeah.
whatever they want, but it's just not. It doesn't especially call out to me that much, but it looks unique and I dig it. I've never picked it up on the shelf, so I'm not giving it like a high tier. It typically doesn't stand out, but I have heard of it before. I've seen it. It seems like they have phenomenal online distribution because almost every like online place there is to get bourbon, I'll see Chattanooga whiskey available, like droves of it. So that's one thing I know about the brand.
Okay. So on the bottle here, it says that Cask 111 is the unfiltered, small batch expression of our signature Tennessee high malt recipe, distilled from a single fermentation. Each 6 to 10 barrel lot has been hand selected to highlight the subtle nuances to this of this distinctly full-bodied and robust straight bourbon. We hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Batch number 21130R. Fermentation 19E01R. Gives the mash bill on here: yellow corn, malted rye, caramel malted barley, and honey malted barley. Should they even tell you that it was fermented for 7 days?
Wow.
It was coopered in a 53-gallon toasted and charred oak barrel. No filter. Age greater than 2 years. Batch size 6 to 10 barrels. So there you have it. Like I said, it was about $45-50. So inexpensive, easy to acquire. Oh, and one thing of note, the cork, it's all cork. Even the topper up here
I saw that when you were showing
is
it a minute ago.
cork. I don't know that I've seen that on any other whiskeys where it's just like, it's all cork. Kind of cool. So there you have it.
It reminds me, I'm blanking on the name of the whiskey. The whiskey maker just left. It's old style looking bottle that I really like. Peerless. It looks like that bottle looks like a cousin of Peerless.
Yeah, I could see that a little bit.
Yeah.
Peerlesses are a little bit more rounded, like almost like a barrel type shape.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see the similarities there.
Yeah.
Ryan, you want to say anything about it?
No, I agree with Steven. I think pretty much echo what he says. Looks like it'd be in Mad Men, so I'm always a fan of bottles that look like they'd be in the show.
I could see that.
It looks like, to me, it looks like a bottle that'd be on like the Brady Bunch or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking of like the Brady Bunch, like road trip episodes or something, and it seems like very much like a roadside attraction sign or something. But I could just see it on that kind of bar, like, yeah, whatever.
I feel like you could throw this on the bar of, like on the back bar of the movie Tombstone, and it would fit in.
Yeah,
I could see it being like more of a Western style movie.
You know, that cork does a lot for that look.
Yeah.
Because I would say the same thing, and I think we have said the same thing about like a lot of the High West stuff, where it's like, I think Connor one time even mentioned that it's like Clint Eastwood could take it and open it with his teeth kind of bottle. Yeah.
And I think that the black and white also lends that to me.
Yeah.
Black and gray, actually. But
the black and white, or like black and silver, is a really good look, I think. Yeah. I think more places or more bottles should do it, because the ones that you can think of that do it, like Eagle Rare and stuff, always looks really good.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to dive into this. I've been wanting to try it for a long time, but so like what we drank last episode, Penelope Tokai, and everything that I've provided this time, I've not tried any of it, and I'm super excited to give it a try. So, what do you say we dive in?
Let's do it.
I was smelling it a moment ago, and I'm having trouble picking up a particular note very strongly, other than, and I don't know exactly how to attribute this or why I get this, but it almost smells dirty to me. Not that it's a bad thing necessarily, but there's some quality of it that's just kind of like musty or like dirty.
Really? So like when I just waft my nose, I get a lot of fruit. But if I like dig in, then I get a lot of sweetness, like a thick sweetness, like a toffee.
I almost get like you ever eat a date before?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love dates, by the way.
I'm not a huge fan. But I like the smell of them. Just the texture, I'm not a big fan of. The taste is good, but yeah, I get like that and a little butterscotch.
You know the weird thing? So my right nostril, I get more toffee. Left nostril, I get more caramel and like a nuttiness to it.
Good nose, I like it. Hopefully this doesn't kill the giant, hopefully I'm not dying because of my canker sore here.
Well, it's 111.
Maybe it'll just kill it.
I've done episodes with like a canker sore with high proof stuff. I think that I'd have to go back and watch, but maybe our Stag Junior episode, I had a canker sore and I mentioned that, but it actually didn't affect it that much.
Really?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
One thing about the nose I want to throw out there real quick before we jump into tasting it is that I get the nose. I get the sensation that it's that it's high proof from the sense, not from the alcohol, right? Like there's some alcohol on the nose. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like bam in your face with alcohol. It is bam in your face with characteristics and fruits and sweets and things like that. So
yeah.
You guys agree with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And now that you guys are saying fruit and stuff, I am getting more of a sweeter note to it. But I still say there's some quality overall that's kind of like musty or something. But these are in my basement. Maybe my basement's just fucked up. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give it a sip. Cheers.
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 Hmm. It's thin.
Say it's
That's
thin.
my initial thought is that I'll get to like flavors and whatnot in a second, but I expected it would feel thicker than it does. It's more thin than I expected.
Nice legs on it. Color's really nice.
Yeah, it's pretty.
You know what this reminds me of, Dan? And Ryan, but I don't know if Ryan's had as much of this stuff. I'm not sure. It reminds me of like a barrel product.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I think that's because like it's an intense burst of some unexpected flavors that leave me not sure if I'm enjoying it or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. I'll say that I really enjoy the finish. Before I jump into like talking about the palate, I just took that. I've only taken that one sip so far, but I will say that I really am enjoying the finish on it because it's gone from a sweetness to a pepper now to like sweetness. The pepperiness is gone and it's back to like a sweetness with some baking spices.
I'm just getting a lot of pepper.
And it's dry.
Yeah.
It is. I'm just. It's just got a very. I'm just blown away by how thin it feels. Not a
It is
very
thin.
viscous whiskey.
Yeah,
I really I like the nose. It's just I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't dislike it, but it's a challenging one. We've been saying a lot, like a lot of the ones we've had recently. Ryan, your face. We've had a lot of ones recently that we've been saying are like, you can just sit back and just drink it whenever, and that's not this at all.
No, it's not.
This is if you're with a bunch of snobby whiskey people, you sit down and you want to taste something and talk about no, you want to do what we're doing here, be all douchey. Then I think that that's the one you'd pull off the shelf, or one of the ones you might pull off the shelf.
Yeah. It's got some great flavors to it, but man, you got to work on it. The complexity. You've got to work on it and figure out what it is you're tasting. And that's the exact point you're trying to make, Stephen.
I feel like this would be good with a fillet because of how peppery it is. Like a mid-rare steak, maybe like a peppercorn crust. Just drink this instead because that's all the pepper you need.
You're really getting that much pepper from it.
I'm getting a lot of pepper and baking, but yeah.
Are you
Maybe I'll come here.
I am getting quite a bit, but let me take another sip. Yeah, I am getting quite a bit.
Quite a bit. Like on the palate, I'm getting like I want to say like raisins and honey. On the finish, I just get a little bit of pepper, but it's after I get some sweetness and before I get baking spices.
I had a little honey in the beginning, and it's just all nothing but pepper for me.
Huh.
It's tough. It's tough. I like not a bad like it's like you got to have like 5 or 6 drinks of it before I think you start to settle in.
I may actually go get an ice cube and give it a shot with an ice
Yeah.
cube because I'm curious how. This is the first time in a while I've been like, I wonder if I would warm up to this a little more with an ice cube in it.
Go for it, dude.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
You know what? I'll do the same thing. So what do you guys think about it with ice?
It's definitely fruitier, like off the nose.
I just took a sip. Well, it definitely takes a lot of the punch away, as you would expect. But it's because it was so thin to start with. Now it's kind of over diluted. So I don't know what you would do. Maybe a couple drops of water instead. I'm not sure.
I can say I preferred it neat over on ice.
Because you lose the finish.
You lose the finish. You lose the intensity.
And now must just have a fucking peppier. I don't know. Maybe it aged differently in my little thing here. I'm still getting a shitload of pepper.
I just got a bunch of pepper on the finish, just that sip, but it was just that one, and now it's still there.
I actually
right on my dangly thing. What do you call that dangly thing?
Uvula.
Yeah, I get pepper on my uvula.
That's a good name for a band or like an album.
Uvula? What I get pepper on my
just like pepper on my uvula.
Yeah, and it just rolls off the tongue so nicely.
Dan, fuck you. If there was a song called "Pepper on My Uvula," you'd be like, dude, this is.
You didn't say song until just now. You said band
or like album. Yeah.
Okay, I can see that being an album name.
If Pearl Jam had something like that, you'd be like, God.
It might have been a Rolling Stones album. We don't know.
Yeah. You ever get a really bad strep throat where your uvula or whatever it's called like gets fucking huge?
No.
Oh, it's terrible.
Does it actually increase or decrease in size?
But mine, it happens for me. I mean, maybe that's like.
Or does it just feel like it is?
No, it is for sure.
Really?
Yeah. At least it's happened to me.
You go to the doctor and just be like, I got a swollen dangler.
I'm not a little bitch, you know. I don't go to doctors, dude. I don't go to doctors unless I'm not shitting right, you know.
Which is always. Which is always.
You know, I'm picking up more on the finish, kind of like a pear, or like it's really tart now instead of spicy on the finish.
Tart? I'm getting no tartness.
Yeah. There's like a weird bite to it that I'm attributing to like tartness.
Okay, I get a bite.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it
describe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I know what it is. It's almost like an apple that's not ripe yet. It's too young still.
Okay, I can go with you on that. I can see that.
Or like a persimmon. You ever had a persimmon before?
The hell is that?
But I don't remember what they taste like.
Is that a fruit?
Yeah. It is.
My grandparents used to have a persimmon tree, and us stupid kids used to try to eat them because we were fucking morons. And it just tasted bad. You were just like, this just tastes bad. Why
did I do that?
Yeah. It's like there's nothing else to do here. Just eat another persimmon.
It's eat a persimmon or do meth. Like those are your choices.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that fruit.
Oh,
that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me.
You know, I don't think I've ever had either is an apricot.
That kind of surprises me.
Yeah.
Same.
Because like apricots are like a common thing that they give to like little kids. Like it's like snack. There's like a ton of like apricot jelly or like dried apricots are
Yeah.
really good, like in trail mix and stuff.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I've ever had one.
They're the other fuzzy fruit.
Does it look like a pear or a peach or something?
Like a
No,
peach.
they're little.
They're
Yeah, but
little?
little. But
Oh,
they're little. And they're like
okay.
more yellow. Whereas like a peach is like a pink or a almost a red, like somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Apricots are like yellow to orange.
Did
Is
you
it
guys ever?
apricot? Have I been saying it wrong this whole time? Or is it
I think
like you could
it's
say it
tomato
either way?
tomato. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Apricot, whatever. Nobody
Did you-
gives a shit.
Did you guys ever bury like an apricot or peach pit
No.
and like try to grow a tree? Doesn't fucking
Did
work.
you? Oh.
Yeah, we did it when I was a kid, but guess what happened? Fucking nothing.
Nothing.
I got
did you ever
approximately
try to-
0 trees.
Hey, did you ever try to extract the cyanide from a apricot pit or a peach pit?
I didn't. Did you?
A what?
No, I'm sorry, ricin.
No.
That's where ricin.
Oh,
that's where
is that where
ricin
it-
comes from.
Is that where it's from?
Ricin, the poison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's from. I think peach seeds have the highest concentrate of it, but it's even in like apple seeds.
Okay.
If Breaking
It's
Bad
r-
was around back then, my dad would have done that as a science experiment with his kids for sure.
Yeah,
Legally, probably not, but he would have thought it was a fun idea.
maybe. My understanding is it's really hard to extract it though, because like you need heat to extract it, but too much heat kills it. So
But then you could just eat a seed with it on and you're fine?
no, first of all, you cannot.
Okay.
And I don't think that there's enough in one apricot or peach pit to like kill you.
Well, fuck, I'm never eating one of those ever then, dude. Because what if I have like the outlier?
I mean, have you like the seed
Hold
is
on,
big?
Dan. What do you mean by that?
I don't fucking eat these fruits, dude. What if I, you know,
what do you mean? What if I have the outlier? Like, what kind of outlier do you think is going to happen?
like the first one that can kill somebody?
Well, you don't eat the pit.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if I did on accident because I'm an idiot and drunk?
There's no way you're going to eat a pit on accident.
All right, dude.
Not even an apricot. Like an apricot
Now you're drunk.
pit is still like
I don't
It's
know these
solid.
fruits, dude. I don't know how big a fucking
It doesn't know if
apricot
you know the
pit
fruit
is.
or not. How many times are you trying a fruit for the first time while you're drunk?
I'm
You
not
have to
drunk right
work up the
now.
courage to eat this fruit. What are you talking about? What is this?
I don't
scenario?
know what the fruit. I don't know what the fruit looks like, dude.
Yeah, but
I don't know how big the pit is.
What I'm saying is the hypothetical itself is insane to me. It's like you're like, okay, well, how am I going to know not to eat the pit when I'm on the high wire going between the World Trade Center buildings? It's like, this is an entirely different hypothetical, man.
Okay, I'm not a fruit expert, dude. All right,
fucking eat an apricot sometime. Don't eat the
Yeah,
seed.
fuck.
It's simple. That's it.
I'm not
That's
even
it.
risking it. All right, dude.
How many cherries have you eaten, Ryan?
In my life, it's
It's rhetorical.
definitely
You've had
it's def-
some. They have a bit.
It's definitely less than 10.
Well, what do you say we go ahead and rate Chattanooga? What do you
Let's
think?
do it. Yeah. sounds
ready?
good.
Okay. Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right. I'm gonna write down my. No, I'm not gonna write down my number because I don't have anything to write on. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to give it a 4.2.
Oh,
Yeah. Which
ouch!
is pretty
Jeez.
low, but I would prefer the notes, I think, of Jim Beam White Label. I would like the atmosphere more of sitting around drinking Jim Beam White Label than having this, personally. I think that there'd be very few scenarios where I'd actually pull out this bottle. So I think there's people out there who probably will like it, but I don't even know how I would recommend it to them because it's so far removed from what I typically like.
Yeah.
There's just, as you might have heard me saying earlier, like it's not like I think this is like disgusting or anything, but there's just so many notes where I'm just like, it's kind of like there's a bite to it. It smells kind of dirty. And again, even those are weird things to say, as you know, with alcohol and all the notes and stuff, it's not necessarily like a damning thing to have that happen, but just the culmination of all of them have just made it so that it's just not something that combined with the fact that it's just really complex, and it's complex in such a way that's like it's not like it doesn't feel like a cohesive, like a medley of things that come together to make a sum that's greater than the parts or whatever. It just ends up being a punchy kind of mess to me, um, which is unfortunate because I liked the bottle a lot, and I'm sure that I could try something else by them and maybe like it. But this one, to me, nothing that I expected it to be was. And so I was just left the whole time like I was having to look for potential positives mostly.
Yeah.
It just doesn't match up with my palate. So the score reflects that. That said, I'm still not giving it an I think 4 is sort of like a right around average to below average score. And that's just my personal palate, but I'm not giving it like, a 3 or below where it's like, why'd they even bother? It just doesn't fit my palate. So that's all I'm trying to say. 4.2.
All right. I'll go next.
That's fine.
I'm going to give it a 6.4. I think that it tastes good. I think that it's too complex. I think that it's too hard to figure out what you're drinking. I think it's too hard to figure out like what it is that I like about it, right? Like I do think it's a good pour. If somebody was like, "Hey, have a pour of this," and I saw it was this, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, fill it up," right? Like it tastes good, but it's almost too much. I don't know how. I don't know. Like that's the only way I can really say it. It's almost too much as far as like weirdness. I think that if it was aged 4 or 5 more years, I think that I would love this whiskey. But as it stands, it tastes good, but it's just too complex. Kind of just a miss for me. But I do prefer it over Jim Beam White Label, and that's the reason why I'm going with a 6.4. So that's where I'm at. Ryan, what about you?
I guess I'll bridge the gap and go a 5.3 right in the middle of you guys.
All right.
It's almost so complex it's boring, if that makes sense. There's a lot going on, and it doesn't reflect in the palate at all. Like I enjoy it more than Jim Beam, but probably the sole reason is because it's 111 proof and not 80, right? So it'll get you drunker faster.
Yeah.
It was so peppery for me, and that was really, you get some of the fruits that you guys mentioned that I haven't eaten, but I'll take your word for it. But it was so overly peppery, even with the ice for me, right? There wasn't anything else besides that. And when you get to these proofs, when you're, over 105, you typically get, we just had that Penelope that was right around this, right? Maybe a little
It
bit
was
higher.
117.
117. And there's so much packed with flavor, and it was aged really well. And I know this age, I don't think this is aged too long from what I read online.
It's
right?
a
Like,
straight bourbon, so it's
yeah.
over 2 years. That's all we know.
You give it a couple more years in the barrel, it probably is going to be better. But right now, it's just so peppery and boring to me. It's a beautiful color. It's got nice legs, but there's just not much to it. It's better than Jim Beam White Label based on the proof alone. Not that every whiskey's better because it's a higher proof than like Jack or Beam, but I do enjoy it more, but not much more. So yeah, 5.3.
Another brother show. Another brother show. Another brother show.
Ticketmaster and StubHub, and ticket in the door was like $200.
You're blurry as fuck.
Yep. It'll refocus. But this fucking thing. Here, I'll just flick it. And let me punch it once. See if that works.
No, but you broke it. Okay.
This fucking thing.
Maybe you're just blurry. That's all it is.
Yeah, do a better job having a recognizable face.
Dude, this thing is not. Look at this thing. Dude, I use it for work and never, except on the podcast.